everyone to episode number 92 of the internet sensation Triple Threat Talk. I am sitting next to and joined as usual by Big B, Brandon Mira, shaking his head for some unknown reason. Postmaster Jones, Mr. Jimmy Biggers, and we want to wish a very heartfelt Triple Threat Talk get well soon to our co-host Just Kendra, who has I guess a case of food poisoning or something going on.
Been there, done that. Not
very fun.
Not fun.
No. How about this?
It's retro Triple Threat Talk today.
Retro, back in the old days. I see what you did.
Breaking out the Ataris and putting on those.
And even the Pepsi Max shout out. Oh yeah, there we go. So a wild weekend. I know Big B threw away his bracket.
Well,
Me and you were still alive.
I have three out of the Final Four still.
Right.
I think Wisconsin hurt a lot of people.
No.
Gonzaga hurt a lot of people.
Okay.
Georgia.
Okay, I was gonna say
Gonzaga didn't really hurt nobody. I don't.
Well, I don't feel
Gonzaga.
Well, I think after the first round.
I think a lot of people had St. Louis out of that region.
I think
going, so. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah.
But
we'll see.
Either way, or not St. Louis. What the hell that was?
I don't know.
All I've got to say, and I know he's gonna reiterate it during the show, is Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah. So without much further ado, we are going retro because it is that time for Viewer Questions.
We have a few this week.
How's Viewer Questions retro?
I don't know, because we do it every week, so that's kind of a move.
No, I was saying because, we're going straight to it because last week we didn't do it.
Well, because we were... Never mind.
Yeah. The Buck in 5.
Oh, okay.
What do you see being this March Madness, either game of the tournament or the game you want to see most?
I want to see Louisville play Miami in the final. And Louisville come out on top. No, I think one of the games that was interesting, I think, was... I don't think it was as close as I remember, but I think Harvard beating New Mexico was a game to watch because, New Mexico was a 3 seed, and Harvard's not a huge athletic team. I mean, if you go to Harvard, you're pretty smart. That's where you go. You go there because you're really smart. A lot of presidents go to Harvard. But
so you could never be accepted there. Is that what you're saying?
I come back with none of this could be accepted. But anyway, Harvard's not known for their great athletes. I mean, obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. Jeremy Lin went to Harvard. But it was nice to see Harvard make it up. So I picked them just because, he was a great
time going to Harvard.
He's a lawyer. Yeah.
So you could play on the Harvard tennis team then. You said no athletes go there. So.
Anyway, I think every game in March Madness is exciting because some people always pick upsets, and obviously Florida Gulf Coast is a nice one. LaSalle is a nice one. During that game against Kansas, I thought WQ had a chance to win the game. They obviously didn't, but they had a chance to win that game. So.
The game I think I was looking forward to most was in the first round, Colorado State, Missouri.
Well, you were there.
Yeah, we were there. Postmaster and I were there. 2 top 5 rebounding teams. They did not disappoint. Colorado State, of course, getting the better of that game. We'll go over that a little bit later on with the score on that. But the game right now I'm looking forward to seeing, and I think the nation is really looking forward to seeing. It's not Louisville, Oregon. It's not IU and Syracuse. It's none of those highlighter games. It is Florida Gulf Coast versus Florida. I think everybody is just jonesing to see that game on Friday.
I think everyone is dialed into this Florida Gulf Coast team. A lot of people are calling him George Mason from a couple years ago. They are
not George Mason.
They can make a run.
But I mean, they're just this is a whole different. This is a whole different ball team.
Could they realistically make the Final Four?
Yes. And I'll explain. Okay. Yeah, I'll explain when we get into coverage. How about you, Postmaster?
Like you said, the Florida Gulf Coast team is definitely fun to watch. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, the way they put on the dunk show is absolutely amazing. The way they run things, and it also helps that you have a supermodel wife.
That's your coach. Your coach is supermodel, right?
Yeah. Another game I'm looking forward to see this weekend is Duke, Michigan State. 2 college powerhouses duking it out.
Like I said, you're gonna see, and I tweeted this earlier. You're gonna see the excitement, the game that you want to see. Florida Gulf Coast and Florida. The science is going to be in the game that you just mentioned.
Right, absolutely. And then another game too. I think will be big to watch. IU Syracuse. IU should have lost to Temple. They had a little help from the referees, a little more than most. And Syracuse, so that'll be a good matchup as well.
And I'm going to disagree with that later on when we go over things.
Yeah. Against All Odds 20 has chimed in.
Oh, he's chimed, huh?
with the Bellas back.
Oh, boy.
Do you see any other women's wrestler that they have fired or that has quit to return also?
I didn't watch Raw Monday. Are the Bellas back?
The Bellas have been back.
They've been back. They're with Team
You
Rose
must not
College.
have been back to watching it the last couple weeks.
They were with Team Rose College like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sure Daniel Bryan and John Cena aren't upset about that. But anyway, they contacted other people. They've contacted Maurice.
She said no.
I think she said no, but I think they're still trying. I think I don't think the Miz would have any problem.
I know Maria turned it down.
Maria turned it down. Beth Phoenix, I think, is still taking time off.
Mm-hmm. She's looking for her dog, and she found it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Whatever. They live together. Whatever. We're getting to public here, but no.
TMZ, fella.
TMZ. You know, the Divas division's a mess to begin with. It's bad, and the Bellas don't really help it. They're good looking. There's no doubt about that, but they don't really possess the wrestling ability that you want from the Divas division, like an Eve Torres or Maurice. They had. They're not that type of diva. They're like the old school. They're the valets. That's what they're there to do. As far as new people coming in, like I said, Maurice turned it down. Michelle McCool's been contacted. You know, it's a lot of people that are. It's funny. It's a lot of people that have been contacted are dating current superstars. Michelle McCool's married to The Undertaker. Maurice is engaged to The Miz. You know, it's not going to be. I don't know who they can get.
That's true. So. I agree.
They need to really kind of work on it, and they really need to make a serious commitment. Maybe have the Divas on like their one match in Raw or SmackDown, and then like an hour show where it's just the Divas. Maybe
TNA's gonna have a freaking whole pay-per-view about Divas, which is crazy.
And I think that's the way to go if you really want to be serious about your Divas division. They're a huge draw. The ladies of wrestling are sexy. They're strong. They're smart. I think that's the route that you need to go, and you need to show them their due diligence and their due respect.
I think the only thing TNA does right is their women's division.
Yeah, and we've said that several times.
And also from Against All Odds 20.
Another one.
Are some fans getting too smart that they can't just sit back and enjoy, or is this how far people's opinion on wrestling has fallen?
Okay, what he was talking about was he's stating that WWE, you know, TV, American wrestling here in the States is more like story based. It's more like a soap opera kind of thing with little wrestling thrown in. But he's talking about in Japan, it's more of a sport. You know, is that kind of ruining things? So you have to understand
because he's a WWE basher. Well, and he hates everything and anything to do with that.
I don't think that's primarily it. I think what it is that yes, obviously here's the bottom line. Okay, WWE. And even though TNA is not great, it's still entertainment. It's entertainment first. Yeah, back in the, you know, honestly, way back when, of times of like Bruno Sammartino,
60s and 70s.
Bruno Sammartino and Gordon Shore, back then it was like wrestling, you know what I mean? But now it's taken an evolution of it's entertainment, it's TV. What do we have to do? The next thing we can do to make this interesting? If you just have guys go out there wrestling, it'd be good, but it's not something that's going to hold people's attention anymore. Right. So it's evolved into this thing, and there's, obviously we've seen things in the last couple of decades that things have been exciting that are story based, and it's an exciting thing to watch, and I think that's why it's taken that evolution. I don't think fans are getting too smart for it. I just think, you know, it's just taking a different turn, and I think, you know, obviously Japan has their way, and America has their way. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well worded point. He's not a WWE hater or basher. He's just a critical. He's just critical.
I don't know. He's pretty bad. Every week he always has to damn WWE.
But it's not. It's because he wants to see it better. You know, it's not because he's a bad guy. I mean,
but the thing is, Odds has been one of our best viewers. Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that. But I think with him, I don't know what they need to do to please him, because there was a 1,000th episode. It was good. There was a Raw a couple weeks ago, and it was very good.
He said the 1,000th episode was bad.
We were in agreement. I can't remember what Raw was like about a month ago. We watched it. It was very good Raw. It was.
And he said it was bad.
It was horrible. One of the worst Raws. I
got your back against all odds. I know what he's saying though. But the product.
I think
the product has gone. Has gone sour.
There's no denying the product's gone sour. There's no denying.
That's all he's saying. But yes, you can pull a good egg out of a bad batch.
But even when it's good, he says it's bad. That's what I'm telling you. Look back at the episode.
I want to know, and this will answer my question from him. Against all odds 20. In the comments this week, along with your questions, as we appreciate them every week, put down what they would need to do to get you to say, wow, that was good, or wow, that held my interest, because honestly, I don't know what they could do.
I don't know.
I don't know what it could be.
There's no pleasing him. It's like a little kid that never gets enough candy bars.
Tell me what they need to do, because I don't know.
And then also, in addition to Against All Odds, everybody, We need you to comment. I mean, we got a lot of comment. We got, what, 5 questions this week? Come on, guys. There's like hundreds of you watching this show. Also, I want to address one particular viewer, 121 Mage. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. You are. But you need to know, before you bash us on anything, I would strongly urge you to go and learn how to spell. Because you do not spell views, V-U-E-S.
That's what I spell it.
And I mean, that's you know, that's 100% cool. If you think this show is not very good, you're entitled to your opinion. Big B stopped doing DWA because he wanted to move on to bigger and better things like this show. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was not happy with him for doing that, but I understand why he did it. I get that.
Too time consuming, fellas.
But it's one of those things, you know.
Now look where we are, we're on public access soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, this show is definitely taking strides from where it was. Our viewership on YouTube is down, just so you know, because everybody is now watching us through the fanadvocate.com's website. That's the only reason our YouTube viewership is down. People are more than welcome to leave questions on there. However, they don't. They would rather leave them on YouTube. So, and plus, our show is, I guess, syndicated on several websites.
Yeah,
if you search, if you Google search triplethreattalk.com, you're gonna, after you get through our episodes, there's like you're gonna see about 3 or 4 pages full of people that use our material for their own purposes and their own show. And we're fine with that. Yep. But we literally get thousands upon thousands of views each week. So it's not 64.
And to add on to that, it's no secret, unless you know you're living under a rock, that YouTube's views are always skewed. YouTube has some kind of bug they've never decided to fix, where sometimes the views lock at a certain point. Like there's one day, an episode about a month ago, where our show had 94 views, and I'm like, it locked, and then like I refreshed it like 4 hours later, and it said 145. So it's YouTube has weird bug problem behind the scenes that they don't care to fix.
Yeah. So let's user questions, comments, criticisms, quandaries, queries, and all the above.
All the above. What's left?
I don't know. And so we want to thank everybody who left comments this week. If your question didn't get read, we apologize for that. But keep leaving us good questions and comments. And with that, we will anoint this week's Viewer of the Week. And I guess since he got double taped and got 2 questions asked,
we addressed him personally.
We addressed him personally and kind of made fun of him a little bit.
Well, you did.
And so did Big B.
I didn't make fun of him.
Against all odds 20. We kid because we care. We still love you. You are this week's episode, Triple Threat Talk, number 92.
Viewer of the Week.
And I almost said Idiot of the Week right there.
We do have one this week.
Hey. Say what you mean, not what you feel.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So, with that, Big B.
What?
If you would please, sir, would you kindly cue the funky music?
I guess.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
I get that. All right. It is that time for headlines. And I think we're going to start off with the Miami streak. They are 6 games back of the magic number needed to beat the LA Lakers.
As of this taping, we'll know if they won number 28 or they lost. I would expect...
They play Chicago Bulls in Chicago.
Without Derrick Rose. So I would expect the Heat to take
And Dwayne Wade is coming back off of sitting 2 games out with a knee injury.
Joakim Noah is also going to be absent for the Bulls.
Well, then it should be a runaway.
What chance do you give them?
They have no Joakim Noah, no Derrick Rose. I would say it's going to be a slaughter.
It's funny, you go on the NBA's website and you see the teams and the standings, whatever, and you have like teams won 2 in a row, and then you look at the Heat, won W27.
And then, can you make tennis quick? We're coming up against the break.
Not that quick.
I don't think you can make it that quick. I say, well, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
That's not fair to me or tennis.
When we come back, we'll go into Big B, and he'll get us some tennis coverage, and from there we'll go to NASCAR, golf, and the NCAA Tournament. So we'll be right back here on Triple Threat Talk. Stay tuned.
Fresh goes better the Fresh Maker.
We're back here on Triple Threat Talk. This is Big B alongside the doctor who dropped his pen, and Postmaster Jones there on the far left.
Far left. By the way,
yes,
you need to start that over. You need to address this man properly.
that's right. What is he, like Fandango?
He's
If you don't say my name right, I'm not doing the show.
go. Now, start over. Try that again.
Try it again, fella.
So I have to like be like a kiss ass? That's what to do?
You know.
Okay, what do I
Watch your language.
That's right.
Come on, who cares? Anyway, fine. And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. This is the peon Big B, alongside the esteemed one, the great one, the ruler of all that is Triple Threat Talk, the doctor, and of course, my other esteemed colleague, who is just as great as a doctor, Postmaster Jones. And I'm just on here.
Yes! Yes!
Is that
Yes!
good enough for you? Did I stroke the ego?
That's perfect.
Wait, whoa. That's it. Family show!
Stroke the ego.
Family show!
Anyway.
So why don't you, since you've kind of filled our heads a little bit, give us time to balloon down a little.
Balloon.
Talk a little tennis.
Okay.
So I'm little, I mean little.
After I booked you up. No.
Peons only get 1 minute.
Starting now.
Anyway, so we all know how dominant Novak Djokovic is. Didn't lose a match all year. Lost in Indian Wells to Juan Martín del Potro. Then goes to Miami. Pretty good field. Ferrera's there. All the good players are there.
What's the name of this tournament?
Sony Ericsson Open in Miami.
Oh,
That's actually good.
that's actually a good tournament,
Yeah, it
isn't
is.
it? Yeah, okay.
So he plays Tommy Haas. And if you know tennis, Tommy Haas has been around a long time. He's 34 years old. Former number 2 in the world. That's his highest ranking, was number 2 back in 2002. So he's an older player. Shouldn't really cause Djokovic a lot of problems. Djokovic is a better mover. He's an overall better player. However, the other night, Djokovic gets whipped 6-2, 6-4 against the 34-year-old Haas. Something that a player of his age has not done in 30 years. Beating number 1 player at the age of his. Haas, I guess his second home is kind of Miami. He works down there with Nick Bollettieri, obviously one of the greatest tennis coaches. He trained people like Andre Agassi. Has that academy down there, and he trains people down there. Haas is kind of like a second son to Bollettieri, I guess. He was when he was like 11. He's worked with him a lot. And it's nice to see someone at that age. You know, you got the people like Djokovic and Nadal and Federer and Murray. It's nice to see someone break through like Tommy Haas to get through. It was surprising to see him beat him as well as he did. So, I mean, good luck to him. And I like to see him come back because he's one of my favorite players. He was a good player, and he looks like he's playing good right now. So, I mean, we'll see what happens to Djokovic going forward. But this is a good win for Tommy Haas, I think.
Who won the tournament?
It's still going on right now.
Okay.
I know on top of the women's side, I should start doing that. On the women's side, actually, Azarenka had to pull out of her second tournament. She actually... she had to withdraw, okay?
I didn't say anything.
He's implying. Anyway,
No,
but she had to withdraw from her second tournament. She actually had to retire due to injury at the Indian Wells, and she didn't even enter the Sony Ericsson Open. She just didn't play it. So she obviously got some injuries going on there. Something she needs to take care of. I don't know if it's her fitness or what it is, but hopefully to see her back. She's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of controversial because what happened at the Australian Open where she took a break or whatever. But that's bad. That's old news. But we should hopefully next week on the show I'll have an update on who won the Sony Ericsson Open on the women's side and the men's side.
All right. So last week we brought up the fact that 2 weeks ago Tiger Woods won a pretty loaded field, and this week he continues his winning ways, winning a rain-delayed Bay Hill Invitational to Arnold Palmer in Bay Hill in Orlando, Florida. Wins by several strokes to claim his 3rd victory of the year already. The most victories this early in the season for him in a long, long time. And with that also reclaims the world #1 golf ranking.
First time since 2010?
I believe so. He is officially back and back on top. What do you think this does for his little mo there when going into the Masters and for the remainder of the season? I mean, he's got to be like just. I mean, and plus he's dating Lindsey Vonn. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we had to talk about that. It's good that he's #1 again, and that's fine. But I still don't know if he is back yet. I think we talked about it a while back. I want to see him perform well in a major. Mm-hmm. If he gets really far in a major and he's like right there at the end, even he doesn't have to win. I say maybe top 3. If he gets top 3, then he's back. But I mean, yeah, number 1 is good, and he obviously played in a good tournament. But I want to see him perform well at a major again.
The way that they do these number 1 golf rankings it's skewed.
I like it better than the way they do the tennis rankings.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. But it's still it needs to be.
I was going to ask, is it similar to the tennis, right?
No.
No.
Is it because I know a couple years back, Caroline Wozniacki was number 1 in the world. She didn't win a lot of Grand Slams, but she just played a lot of tournaments. She just kept winning those, and that's how she got all the points.
No, the way you've said tennis goes by last year.
No,
you said they accumulate points, and when they play in the same tournament, if they don't accumulate the same amount of points, they drop.
Well, for example, say like Nadal. Okay, he won the French Open, and say he doesn't play, he loses points because he won it. Is that what you mean? Okay. Yeah.
Well, in golf, they don't do that. They just go about what have you done for me lately, basically.
And
it's kind of like a college or a football or basketball poll. It's like who's hot right now, who's on top right now. It's kind of but he has played in a lot of tournaments this year. But he's finished up there in every one of them, and he's won 3 of them. So I think it's great. It's great for the sport of golf.
Yeah.
Whenever Tiger does well, it's obviously good for golf.
Well,
and that is true. That's very true.
I
still want to see him. Like I said, we talked about this earlier. I still think his best chance overall to win a major is coming up in the Masters starting next week. Yeah. I think that's when if he's going to win a major, that's the one he's going to win. It's at Augusta. He knows the course. And the only thing that really changes are a couple minor things, and then the hole locations, of course, but those change day to day to day. And also, just like outside barring any strange winter conditions. And this year, even as far as south, next week, the entire Midwest and South is in a holding pattern for cold weather, so it will not be nice weather.
We're actually expecting to get a monster snowstorm here in Louisville.
Next week.
If you live in the Ohio Valley, and maybe if you saw my Facebook post or not, that groundhog needs to go.
Yeah, it's not working. But anyways, it's expected. I think they're expecting 30-degree weather next week at Augusta, and we're expecting it here.
And I was considering going.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that. And do you have tickets?
I was considering buying tickets and going.
You can't buy tickets to the Masters.
Oh, you can't?
No, you can't buy.
I thought it had to be spectator.
No, that's the only one you can't get.
Yeah, you had to be very high. It's like the Packers. Like there's like a.
I don't know. I was thinking about maybe buying tickets and going.
If you buy them, they had to be StubHub, and I think the lowest price right now is like $1,000.
But I was gonna say about Tiger in that tournament.
I thought about it though.
Are we gonna see typical Tiger where he performs well in a major and then suddenly just drops off?
I don't think so.
So he's in the last couple of majors he's been in.
I think that you're on par, and I think you're on par. I think that he's gonna go. I think that he's gonna play well. Maybe someone's gonna play better. We're gonna find out. Like I said, I'm sticking to my guns. If he's gonna win one, it will be this one.
The green jacket.
So we had one wild weekend in NASCAR.
I even watched this week. I watched about an hour of the race, including the end.
You tuned in. You saw the end. You saw all the excitement. It was one of the most exciting mile-and-a-half races I've seen in a long, long time. A lot of 4 wide, even some 5 wide at one point, I think. The banking there, as a matter of fact, before the race started, I think the banking or the groove is 7 highway lanes wide. So that's one wild. But we all know Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano's MO from Bristol
from the week before. Yeah.
So you thought, would it carry over?
Yes.
Of course it carried over. So these two, they're battling back and forth. They both get around Kyle Busch with about 20 laps to go, and they're battling pretty hard, door to door. As a matter of fact, on the very last lap, Big B, if you would roll the clip here, I'll just keep on moving here. As you can see, they make contact, they touch, and Logano crashes into Hamlin. Hamlin goes careening into the inside wall, hits the wall hard. In the process of these two going at it, Kyle Busch just slips around him on the outside like Mr. Sneak Sneak.
Awesome.
Like, see you guys. And
I knew it was going to happen. And I said, Busch is going to pass him. and
Kyle Busch slips through on the outside. He takes the victory. Dale Jr. also slips through to take second. After scoring reviews, and timing reviews, Logano was scored third. Denny Hamlin actually was taken out on a stretcher in the ambulance. He then was transported via helicopter to the hospital. Now, it wasn't because of his serious of injury. It was because of traffic purposes. So I know a lot of people were confused. They thought, oh God, something really bad happened. But actually, the reason why they used the helicopter was because of traffic reasons.
100,000 people there.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to get him out.
So he was transported to a hospital, and it's found out that he has a lower back injury. He will miss up to 6 weeks. So basically, his season is over. He will not make the chase, even if he comes back and wins 3 or 4 races. I actually spoke to Dustin Long personally last night, and he was telling me, you know, that his chances of making the chase are pretty much done. I asked him who he thought would replace Hamlin for the next couple of weeks, and he said Joe Gibbs' Nationwide drivers, Elliott Sadler and Brian Vickers, could be your replacements until Hamlin returns. So we wish Denny a speedy recovery. I love the way they went at it, and even the president of NASCAR, Brian French, said he loved everything about it other than Denny Hamlin getting injured, which was good. That was the one, you know, bad thing that came out of it. But if they're going to keep racing like this, I mean, ratings are going to continue to go up. People are going to watch. They're going to be tuned in. I mean, the race this week was up 23% over last season, which is great because you had this you know, situation with Logano and Hamlin at the end. And then after that, you're thinking, what the heck is Tony Stewart doing? And he goes over and starts throwing punches at Logano.
Completely uncalled for.
And
I like Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart made a jerk of himself.
And Big B, if you would again, roll this clip. Listen to this interview. Now, you may not like what he did, but this interview will make you laugh.
It is funny.
It's definitely a pretty hilarious interview. I think every other word was beep, 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 beep.
Joey spun the tires on the restart, and you know everybody had trouble with that. So you know, but it's not my fault that he spun the tires. And for a guy that's been complaining about how everybody else is driving here, and then him to do that, it's a double standard. You know, he makes the choice. He makes the decision to run us down there, and when you run a driver down there, then you take responsibility of what happens after that. So you know, he's a tough guy on pit road as soon as one of his crew guys gets in the middle of it. Until then, he's a scared little kid, and then he wants to sit there and throw a water bottle at me. So he's going to learn a lesson, and he can run his mouth on Twitter and stuff all he wants tonight. I got plenty of people that are going to watch for that, and but it's time he learns a lesson. He's run his mouth long enough. He's sat there and done this double standard, and he's nothing but a little rich kid that has never had to work in his life. So he's going to learn with us working guys that had to work our way up how it works.
Before all that, man, you came storming up through there at the end of this race. It was just pandemonium at the end. Take us through the on-track action there.
I mean, we came in that one stop and got 2 tires and got an awesome restart on the outside that got us the third to begin with. So you know, I was proud of our restart. I was really proud of our team. Steve Addington did an awesome job, and these guys had awesome pit stops and made great changes all day. But I don't know what happened at the end. I think we had a tire going down, or if not, we got something else that actually happened. But you know, it started right before the caution, and then it was really bad afterwards. But still no excuse for Joey to do what he did. It's and just tired of watching these little kids whine, and then they sit there and act tough when their crew guys get in the middle of it. And it's about time. If NASCAR wants to let the guys have at it, it shouldn't be any different in hockey. Let us have at it, and then when one guy goes to the ground, then it's over.
Tony, he basically said after the race, he said, you know what, I blocked him. And he said early in the race, I wouldn't do that. End of the race, he would. Does that give him any excuse for that at that point?
He still takes the responsibility on himself. I mean, he has that right. He has the choice to do that. I mean, he's in control of his car, but if he ever turns down a cross in front of me again, I don't care what lap it is, he won't make it through the other end of it. If I didn't hit the chip, he wouldn't have made it through turn 1 to begin with. So, you know, I'm tired of these guys doing that stuff, and especially out of a kid that's been griping about everybody else, and then he does that the next week. I mean, he's sent Denny to the hospital and screwed our day up. So, you know, he's talked the talk, but he hasn't walked the walk yet. He's always got his crew guys walking the walk for him.
He said he wants to call you this week. Will you accept that phone call?
Hell no. If he wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it. So after he threw the water bottle at me like a little girl, we'll go at it now. I'm not going to listen. I got nothing. I don't care what he has to say. It's just words right now. Actions speak louder than words.
But he was mad. The reason why he was mad, I think, was more than what people were saying because he got blocked. Number one, he did get blocked. He got blocked all the way into the grass, which I can understand getting mad about that because Tony did everything but wreck him, and then he should have wrecked him. Number two, Logano cost him to get a flat tire. That's the second thing he was mad about. And number three, I think Tony Stewart being kind of the aggressor of the garage as far as taking up for people or letting the younger guys know when they're out of line. I think he was fed up with the way he was treating Denny Hamlin and other guys, and he was going to take matters into his own hands. And when he said, Tony Stewart said, I quote, Joey Logano threw a water bottle at me like a girl, I said, okay, you want to fight, that's fine. So it's like sands through the hourglass with NASCAR, but
see, I don't necessarily agree with that point because last week at Bristol, it was Hamlin that wrecked Logano, and Logano in the interview that can we play the Joey Logano interview?
Well,
yeah, let's play it, Joey.
I feel like my auto club forward was amazing. First of all, I want to thank Doug Yates for giving us a motor that survived. I put that thing through hell, and it made it, which is amazing. Really, really hot, no water left in it, and it made it. So I'm very happy about that. Just raced for the lead there at the end, and got into three a little hard, and was doing what I had to do to try to win the race. Hope Denny's okay. I don't obviously no intentions to get somebody hurt out here, and our cars are really safe, so I'm sure he's going to be okay. But overall, I'm proud of my guys. They did a very good job this whole weekend, giving me a very fast car that's capable of winning the race, and we'll see what happens from here.
So there was a little dust up at the front of pit road with the 14. What happened there for those of us who were on the ground?
Yeah, what happened was I started with the 18 car on the outside of me. I was starting second on the inside. NASCAR's rule is that you can't pass the leading car before the start-finish line. The 18 was spinning his tires, so I was trying to, not pass him. So I'm half throttle there, trying to make sure I don't, beat him and get black flagged, which gives the 14 the run, and I had to throw the block. If that was earlier in the race, yes, it was really dumb to do. Late in the race is what I had to do. I feel like I had to do to keep myself from losing spots. I feel like if I got put 3 wide there, it's going to take my chances away from winning the race, and I did what I had to do there. I'm going to have to talk to Tony about it. Obviously, he's very frustrated about it, and I'll have to just communicate and see what he has to say. And I'll tell him the same thing I told you, and we'll see what the reaction is.
If you had it to do over again, would you do anything differently, or would you stay with the block there?
At that moment, I had to. So yes, I would have to do the same thing, and I would think that Tony would do the same thing too, to make sure that he secures himself a chance to win the race. Like I said, if that was 20 or even 150 laps into the race, probably not the best move. But coming down with 20, or I think it was even less than, I think it was like 10 to go. That's kind of what we're here to do. That's what I get paid to do, is to try to win races.
Describe what happened. Did he cut you off on pit road, and what happened after that?
Well, he cut me off, and then I was confused because I was like, I don't know what he was mad about. And he came over to me, and at that point I was asking him, what are you mad about? Let's talk about this. I don't know what it was. And then we didn't get the word in. So we'll try to talk some more.
Did he take a swing at you?
I don't know. There's a lot of hands everywhere. I don't know if I got swung at or not. I didn't get hit, so I think everyone's okay.
You and Denny 2 weeks in a row get into it. How would you describe the racing between you there at the end? Just clean, hard racing, or was that part of a...
I mean, it's hard racing, yeah. And, would the race be different if it wasn't for last week? Most likely. But that's racing. Stuff does carry over, and I hope that's over now. I hope he's okay. I mean, obviously, there's no intentions to wreck him, and if you watched it, I did not hit him in the left rear, and then after that, it looks like everyone just lost control, and then it all went down like that.
Did you feel like he raced you fair at the end? Do you feel like he was a little more aggressive with you than
He raced me fair, but he didn't race me fair last week.
So he said that right there, it was payback.
He said, payback.
But, so, you know, I don't see Tony Stewart being mad about that because payback is, we see it week to week, as you alluded to earlier. You know, were we going to see payback here for what Hamlin did to Logano? And not only did we see that, Hamlin, he had contact on himself. Logano may have initiated contact, but Hamlin spun back into it, ultimately, that caused his car to go down, and thus causing his own injury.
But actually, Logano did get payback at Bristol. In the final restart, he jacked Hamlin up so bad that it basically killed any chance he had of winning the race. So technically, Logano did get his payback at Bristol. This was this insult to injury. And one thing that's totally out of line is the fact that he sit there and said that's what he gets, that's what he deserves, and the man's getting loaded into a stretcher.
And that is true.
You need to choose your words.
That is.
You know, I realize it might have been payback, it might have been whatever, but you don't say, well, that's what he gets. And they're showing another shot. The poor guy's getting loaded in the ambulance and he can't breathe.
That is very true.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. But to me, Tony Stewart's actions were completely out of line. Yes, he's frustrated. I get that. But you said it yourself. He's the king of blocking people in.
Well, he can be, so. and I totally disagree. I think what he did was good for the sport and good for NASCAR. So we will be right back after this.
Would you like an autograph? I do way more for the fans.
I doubt that very much.
Do you like this hat? Here, it's yours. You can have it.
Take one of my helmets. It's much better than the hat.
What about a ride home? Can I give you a ride home? I mean,
even better. Take my car. Do whatever you want with it.
Kidding me? Can you beat that?
I don't think so.
True champions know what fans really want. Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR. Many champions, many fans. One oil. Mobil 1.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with my esteemed co-host, the esteemed one, Gary the Dr. Lockard, and Mr. Peon, Big B, Brandon DeViro.
So we are getting into the big dance now. First round story. The big
prom?
Yes, prom. We're getting into prom.
Spring hop.
We're covering the spring hop.
The sock hop?
All right.
The Sadie Hawkins dance. We're talking about that right now.
Who's the DJ?
DJ Mix-a-Lot.
Okay.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
It's a big dance, though.
Harvard upsets New Mexico. And these are first round stories, by the way. Just going to run down the scores here. Harvard upsets New Mexico 68-62, which this guy had. Colorado State, a game that I was very interested in. We were present. 84-72 over Missouri. Colorado State, 36 rebounds.
Not so many in the game against Lowell. They got out-rebounded.
They got out-rebounded against.
They got out-muscled. Too
fast. Cal upsets UNLV's Running Rebels 64-61. Belmont does not get the much called for upset over Arizona.
Come on, Belmont.
Arizona winning 81-64. Oregon does, you know, a 12 beats a 5 all the time.
Oregon,
but it technically is an upset. The Ducks, the Ducks do beat the Cowboys, Oklahoma State, 68-55.
Well, usually it's the other way around. Stop it.
Miss gets the win over Wiss. Mississippi gets the win over Wisconsin, 57-46. LaSalle beats Kansas State, 63-61. Minnesota gets the victory over UCLA, 83-63, and Florida Gulf Coast, the talk of the tournament, which we will talk a little bit more about here in just a second when we go over the second round upsets. 78-68.
This guy said it anyway.
Now said, watch out. This was it. Let me clarify. I did not
Georgetown, but he said watch out
for Florida Gulf Coast, and it sure as hell happened. And another thing that also happened was I said Kansas State is going to get a run, or Kansas is going to get a run. They almost lost that game. Western Kentucky had shown up to play just a little bit more.
Halftime, they looked very good. Before the half.
Oh, they were winning at halftime.
The second half.
Yeah, they were up by 2 at halftime.
The second half, they kind of.
But they still, Kansas only won by 7 points. 7 points at the end.
Yeah, and they got their act together against North Carolina.
That was insane. No, they did not.
Okay.
They did not.
No, because they looked bad in the first half.
They've looked absolutely atrocious.
And then in the second half, it was like they turned on the switch.
Yeah. Turn the switch on.
Second round action. Oregon beats the much-ado St. Louis Billikens. A lot of people picking this St. Louis team to make it to the Final Four. Myself, Postmaster, and Big B were not among those people.
Billiken? I had no idea.
74-57. The Wichita State Shockers shock Gonzaga. They are the first 1 seed to
lead the play. They're legit.
76-7. Wichita State
surprise here.
Wichita State is the team that I said to look out for last year, and this year they're definitely
not surprised they beat Gonzaga.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Either Wichita State or LaSalle will be in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wichita State beating Gonzaga is not a surprise.
That's pretty cool, though.
Especially how Gonzaga played against 16.
Yeah. Minnesota loses to Florida 78-64.
Really, Minnesota?
Almost immediately after,
Tubby
Smith is fired.
Really? Why?
To get a younger set of eyes on the program is what their quote was.
Really?
And they also said that they had higher expectations.
Yeah.
Okay, let's run this down real quick, okay?
And this is where we're going to take a break from the action real quick.
So, Tubby Smith, well-respected coach.
Yes.
Coach University of Kentucky was run out of town for whatever reason. No one knows.
I know.
And then now, because Minnesota, they've never won a tournament game, I believe, since he's been there.
Yep.
Then they win one this year. It's the best season he's had. Looks to Florida, who's playing very good basketball. It's like, you know what, Tubby? You know what? We came to this team, helped improve our program, got us good prospects, and this is the best season we have with you, but unfortunately we're going to go with a different direction. Huh?
I think the thing that really bothers me here is that Tubby Smith really put Minnesota on the map, and he didn't deserve to get fired from Minnesota because Minnesota is not a championship program.
No.
As a matter of fact, Minnesota had not had many winning seasons until Tubby Smith came there. Mm-hmm. He hasn't had less than a 20-win season in the time that he's been there, and I think really to fire Tubby Smith when you're at Minnesota, I think that was a slap in the face to Tubby Smith. He wasn't quite. Kentucky is a championship program.
Oh, yeah.
He won one championship up there. Didn't do much in the 7 years after. That's why he left. And he showed favoritism to people like his son Saul, who really couldn't hit the blind side of a barn. I mean, the broad side of a barn. I mean, he wasn't a very good player. No. He had better players available as point guards on that team. He chose to play Saul. But that's the reason he was run out of Kentucky. This is just ridiculous and absurd, and I think next year UCLA, Minnesota is going to realize the mistake that they made. Yep. UCLA also fires their head coach, Ben Howland. This one I can kind of see he's been kind of recruiting oddly. Yeah. I don't agree with them letting him go because it is tougher to win in college basketball than it has been at any other particular time in the past because of one and done and losing kids to the NBA.
Yeah, so, the fact that you mentioned about that UCLA firing, VCU actually, Coach Shaka Smart, they're talking about maybe he would go to UCLA. I don't think he's going to leave VCU, but there's been talk that he might go to UCLA for a bigger program. So
Florida Gulf Coast kept it going against San Diego State University, 81-71. This team is for real. Yeah. And I want to, the Sweet 16, before we go into any of the stories, the Sweet 16 matchups are like this. Marquette taking on Miami. Arizona going against Ohio State. Syracuse versus IU. LaSalle versus Wichita State. Oregon versus U of L. Michigan taking on Kansas. Michigan State versus Duke. And Florida Gulf Coast against Florida. So, first thing I want to address. Kansas is playing horrible. If they came within 7 points of being the first #1 seed to be eliminated by a 16 seed, Western Kentucky just needed to do a couple more things right off the glass and on the perimeter, and they would have advanced. You know, and I think one of the big things here is Western Kentucky is a great program. They're just out of the Sun Belt, so they get jacked on their seeding frequently. Right. And they're a better team. If they were playing anybody else except for maybe U of L or Gonzaga, or not Gonzaga, U of L or Indiana in this field, they probably would have won. Mm-hmm. And I think that needs to be addressed. When you look at these seedings, just because they're from a mid-major, you don't need to seed them a 16 or a 15 automatically. Look at the talent on that team, and you will see that they definitely deserved to be seeded a little bit lower.
I think it might not have just been that. I think it was their overall win-loss record. It wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great, but they still came out of the Sun Belt as winners.
But
and they did have a very good team behind the perimeter. I mean, they do a lot of things well, and a lot of teams, you know, just because you play in a league conference, you're going to get beat. Like just like with Florida Gulf Coast, they lost twice to Lipscomb this year. Does that make Florida Gulf Coast worse than Lipscomb? No, it's just on 2 nights. Maybe Lipscomb matched up a little bit better to Florida Gulf Coast. It is. And that's what I say. It's all about matchups.
You can equate the NCAA tournament to the NFL playoffs, so to speak. Because look, when the Giants won Super Bowl, they weren't the best team in football. They were not even close, and they got hot at the right time, and they just went. This team is getting hot at the right time. That's all. That's all it is.
Yep.
And I think the majority of people want to know, who is Florida Gulf Coast? Florida Gulf Coast started in 1991. 2 years ago, they become eligible for the NCAA tournament. All right, so. Second year of eligibility, they're now going to the Sweet 16. Who are these kids? These kids are fearless, is who they are.
And they're going to lose.
The Sherrod Brown kid, phenomenal. They attack the glass, they attack the board, they drive the lane, they play fearless. Colorado State against U of L started off great. For the first 10 minutes of that game, U of L fans were panicking. They were like, oh my God, are we going to lose to this team? And then U of L started winning.
Yeah.
And why they started winning was because they took Colorado State off of their game plan, and Colorado State playing back on their heels. And that's not something you want to do when you play a top school like U of L. It's not something you want to do ever. Now, when you take that out of comparison to Florida Gulf Coast, they did not let anyone take them out of their game plan. They kept playing fearless, and now because of that, they find themselves in a very unique predicament. They are going against the University of Florida. 3 teams from the state of Florida, which Postmaster Jones took over tweeting duties for the tournament, and he tweeted out on our website about that fact. This is most teams that's been made from the state of Florida.
Yep.
Now, Florida Gulf Coast, I think, has a real chance to beat Florida.
I believe that.
Because of one key reason. They play fearless. Florida will intimidate people. We saw Minnesota get intimidated against them.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota did start mounting a little bit of a comeback. Yes, they did. But that's also because, in partial because, Florida themselves went cold, much like North Carolina did against Kansas, which is the reason that North Carolina wound up losing that game to Kansas in the second round altogether, because Kansas started heating up in the last 5 minutes to save their own necks, and toward the last 10 or 15 minutes, North Carolina went ice cold. They shot 21% the last part of the game, which is utterly absurd for that North Carolina team, especially when you have when you have the caliber of talent that they do.
Plus Roy Williams.
Yeah, plus Roy Williams as a coach. I honestly believe that this team, this Florida Gulf Coast team, has a real chance of winning. Right now, Florida is absurd favorite of 13 points. The nation, however, 53% going against Florida and picking Florida.
You gotta go with the hot team.
You gotta go with the hot. Well, it's not necessarily, because both teams at this point have won the same games.
I think people expected Florida to get here. Florida Gulf Coast, no one expected them to get the first round.
And and like I said, here in Triple Threat Talk, we said watch out for them because this is the team that beat Miami. They had a couple impressive wins this year, had a couple bad losses. But so did everybody. So did Kansas against TCU, and that's what ultimately led to their almost demise.
Just to add to your point on that, you mentioned that Florida and Florida Gulf Coast, Florida was a 13-point favorite. Just for all you prop bettors out there and all you Triple Threat Talk fans that like to know this kind of stuff, the Sweet 16 odds or the betting lines. Miami is a 5-point favorite over Marquette currently right now. Arizona is a 3.5-point underdog to Ohio State.
Wow.
Syracuse is a 5.5-point underdog to Indiana. LaSalle is a 4-point underdog to Wichita State. U of L opened up as a 10-point favorite. That line has already moved to 12. I think that might actually move higher. I don't know if it'll move
Oregon's
lower.
going to test them.
They will, but I think the line will go up. Michigan is a 2-point dog to Kansas, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
I think
Is it Ann Arbor?
I think Kansas is history.
Kansas,
where is it being played?
I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter.
I think Kansas is going to win that one. Michigan State and Duke, I think, could be a toss-up, but Michigan State is a 2-point underdog.
I like Michigan State in that game.
And like you mentioned, Florida is a 13-point favorite to Florida Gulf Coast, which I disagree.
Now,
too many points.
I know you guys want to talk about this U of L matchup. U of L and Oregon. I'm surrounded by Cards fans. Let me give you guys a little bit of a background on Oregon real quick, and then I want to hear your all thoughts.
I know Oregon's good.
Well, it's not necessarily that they're good. All right.
They were 17-2 before their point guard got hurt, and they went on a losing streak without him. And now, since he's been back, they've really been playing well.
Right. So here's the deal with Oregon. Oregon plays the exact type of ball that Rick Pitino teaches U of L to play. He's taking this match seriously because he's hoping that U of L can play this on a good night. Now, you made a point earlier talking about IU almost losing to Temple and that the refs really favor Temple. They did not, and I will tell you why. Because when you have 3 of your starters shooting 0, 0, and 3 points like Temple did, they had a guy on the guy Wyatt. He had 31 points, almost all of Temple's points. That's the reason that they lost.
There was 1 point in the second half. It was 8 fouls to 0 in favor of Indiana.
And that's going to happen. I've seen that a couple times in this tournament. Not 8 to 0. I've seen 7 to 2.
I think that's a little ridiculous.
I've seen 6 to 1. But you can't just charge a foul just to charge a foul. There has to be reasonable cause.
It makes you wonder. It really does. It makes your mind think.
But when we get back after this break, I know I've got a little bit of time, but I'm already going to thought. We'll finish up talking about the big dance and go into some wrestling coverage. WrestleMania is right around the corner. Stay tuned. Triple Threat Talk.
No one expected me to be here. No one expected me to be a starter, to hit game-winning shots, or even play in this league. Well, I'm not here to live up to anyone else's expectations. I'm here to live up to mine.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with my esteemed colleague, the esteemed one, Gary the Dr. Lockard, and as always, Big B, Brandon Rhodes on the end. So before the break,
good news for you in the Supreme Court this week.
Moving on.
So before I completely broke Postmaster Jones over here,
get some duct tape.
Wyatt went on 31 points against Indiana. He got no help from his team. That's what ultimately led to Temple losing to Indiana with a win 58-52. So now, what does this have to do with Oregon and everything like the such? If U of L has a game like Temple did, where they have 2 or 3 of their starters, if Rusticulous happens, if he has a few Rusticulous moments, or if
sometimes Rusticulous is good.
Sometimes
there's bad Rusticulous and there's good Rusticulous. There's 2 different ones.
So if bad Rusticulous shows up, there could be some problems. Pitino is treating this matchup seriously. He had Travis Ford at practice with them. Of course, Travis Ford, a former Kentucky player, and also Oklahoma State's head coach. And of course, Oregon beat Oklahoma State in the first round. He had them at practice to tell the players how serious of a team this is. Now, here's the kicker. Oregon plays the same style of ball, pressing the ball, pressing every single step of the way. Pitino knows this style of ball better than anyone. I don't see a threat here. I think U of L is going to win. It's going to be tough because they're going to press just like U of L is going to press. Both teams have to find a way to bring it to press. If both teams play as they have been, I see U of L winning this game with minimal difficulty.
I agree with you there. I think the fact that they play the same style of ball as Louisville helps Louisville more than it hurts Louisville.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's definitely not a hindrance at all. In fact, I think if you break down the horses, like the players, as it were, Louisville has I think, better players out of the two programs because Oregon's backcourt that's what's going to hurt them the most. Oregon's backcourt is freshmen, and even though they run the same style ball, they may collapse under the pressure of Russ Smith and Peyton Siva all up in your face. And the way Kevin Ware has been playing off the bench for Peyton Siva, he's been playing really good too. I'm in agreement with Doctor here. I don't see Oregon giving U of L a threat. I think their bigger threat comes out of the winner of the Michigan State Duke game.
Yeah, it's going to be different than the first two games they played because the first two teams they played weren't any competition for them.
They weren't.
I can't remember the name of the first team they played.
North Carolina, A&T,
and then Colorado State. You were saying Colorado State would give them a game, and that didn't happen.
They did for 10 minutes, and then Louisville basically said, "Okay, we're done with you."
Yeah. And then NCAA, the game you were at, was not even exciting.
No,
it was over from the tip-off. I think Louisville's going to win this game handedly. Maybe. I think Oregon's going to surprise them.
Yeah.
I think Oregon, like you said, they play the same type of ball, so they know what to expect. Oregon. And Oregon's not a slouch team. I mean, Oregon's had a good program for a long time. They were, I think, a number 1 or number 2 seed a couple years back. Oregon. So, Louisville's going to have. This is going to be their first test of the tournament. There's no doubt about that. But I think they do win. I think they get their act together. I mean, it's going to be a close game. I think they win maybe by maybe 10 points.
One key stat: Rick Pitino is 10-0 in the Sweet 16, and you're not 10-0 in the Sweet 16 for no reason. So
he's got that week to prep.
That's right. He has a whole week to sit and think on one team, and that is dangerous.
That is dangerous.
You don't want that.
So
Ricky P.
Good stuff, definitely. We got the Sweet 16 coming up, followed by the Elite Eight. So next week we'll be previewing the Final Four. Who will be the Final Four team? Out of all the games, what do you see, other than Florida Gulf Coast, is there a team out there that could shock everybody, could come out of the weekend totally unexpected? Is there one team you're like, wow, I didn't expect them to make it to the Final Four?
I think Wichita State has a great chance. I think Wichita State has a chance to really kind of to shock people. I mean, it's there, and they get past LaSalle. They're one good game away from making the.
All they
Final
got to do is essentially beat Ohio State
and they can do that.
Arizona,
which they can do that.
They can definitely beat Arizona.
I'm agreeing with them.
And I think that Ohio State had a couple of shaky calls. There was a charge call against Aaron Kraft that maybe shouldn't have happened. That really set a lot of people in an uproar. I did not particularly see the call. I've not been able to find a clip of it, so I can't comment on it. But I do know it was a charge or a no charge situation, which we have talked about extensively on the show recently. But other than that, I don't see really anyone in this field that could upset. I think LaSalle obviously would be
if they beat. I like Wichita State better against Ohio State than I would LaSalle. LaSalle end up winning Wichita State.
Whoever wins that game though has the potential to shock.
Well, yeah, that's the only one I would say.
Out of the 3 number 1s remaining, how many of the 3 do you think will make the Final Four?
2.
2, yeah. That's
my names are IU and U of L.
I say. I say.
I think 1. I think Louisville's the only one. I really do. I think Syracuse is going to win. I think Syracuse is going to beat Indiana.
I like Miami.
I think Syracuse plays that ball, like you said, that sometimes hindrance teams that like to run. They slow it down. They're big. They're physical. And look at Wisconsin. They had Indiana's number. They slowed the game down. They were big. They were physical. Syracuse is kind of the same thing. Plus, they have good outside shooting guards. So if Syracuse gets them into that type of game where it's back and forth, low scoring 50s, maybe low 60s, I think Indiana could be in a world trouble against Syracuse. I think this is definitely going to be one whale of a test for Indiana.
Did you see Kansas kind of like the New York Giants where they just get hot and just keep...
They could,
but
I mean,
they're not getting hot though.
They have the potential.
Well, they keep winning. That's what the Giants can do.
They're shooting, but everybody, that's what you don't understand right now. Everybody that is in the Sweet 16 have won the same amount of games.
No, but I know that, but I'm saying we all agree with Kansas is a number 1 team.
They're not a number 1 team.
And that's why I'm drawn too much to the Giants. I don't know what that was. Drawing so much to the Giants, because the Giants were the best team in the playoffs, and they just can't end up winning. That's what I'm saying about Kansas. Kansas isn't the best team in the Sweet 16. They're one of the worst teams. But they somehow just keep on winning. That's what the Giants, they just keep on winning.
Because everybody keeps winning up to this point. I'm hearing what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
No, he's saying that
how do they keep winning? I'll tell you how they keep winning. They played a 16 seed that really should have beat them, and then North Carolina goes ice cold. The reason that Kansas is still in this tournament is because North Carolina went ice cold.
You know what I'm saying?
When no one else could, hit. I get what you're saying. I really do. Okay. That they have found a way to keep winning, but really it has been off the other team's misfortune that they have been winning. It's kind of like Good Luck Chuck, the movie. All that stuff happened.
Bad movie.
Because it's still a bad movie, but it's still a good comparison. It's kind of like that.
Why did we bring up a movie that told the story of Cody Rhodes and Brandon anyway? I don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't understand it.
Dane Cook, Jessica Alba.
Wow.
So, with that's headlines and basketball.
And Good Luck Chuck.
Good luck, Chuck. So with that, congratulations, OVW. Welcome to now over 1 million homes in the Louisville area. You are now part of Channel 21 Ion TV. A new deal for you all that has started this week, I believe, or did it start last week?
This week, I think.
Starts this week.
Starts after the Saturday Night Special.
Which is being called...
I can't remember.
Is it called Zero Dark 30?
Yes.
Was the 30 is like the number?
Yes. Yes. I don't like it.
Come on, guys.
Really?
Because the coalition.
Zero Dark 30.
That was a movie that came with the original title that was written by the original people.
Yes.
They're just using something that's already out there.
It's kind of like, okay. But anyway, congratulations on the new deal. Good job over there. And we'd like to thank all the boys and girls and the fine folks at OVW. And if you want to check them out and follow them along, you can at OVWblogspot.mania.blogspot.com or the Brian Cannon. Also, if you live in the Louisville area, you can check them out on Ion TV, which I don't know the digital channel for that. I'll have to get back with
research.
I know Channel 21, but I don't know if they have a digital channel for that. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what it is.
And www.ovwrestling.com or check the episodes out online at www.blipped.tv.
Flipped.
So that's wrestling coverage.
We want to thank Terry Bodie, Cheryl Connolly for
all
right. Cheryl Connolly for
get it right.
Terry Bodie and Cheryl Connolly for
again.
I quit. I'm done.
Terry and Cheryl Bodie, not Sherry. You get it right.
Cheryl and Terry, it's combined.
Cheryl.
How about Sherreri? Anyway.
Terrell and Terry Bodie. Cheryl Bodie on their nuptials. It's just one of those things.
We already said last week.
They got married. And
they got married, and now we're confused.
Terrell and Cheryl.
But anyway, thank you for everything you do for us. Check out thefanadvocate.com. Watch us through www.triplethreattalk.com or thefanadvocate.com. And someone please type that about 1,000 times so I don't ever do it again.
Hey, after the show, the doctor is going to write on the dry erase board.
I will not say Cheryl
Connolly. I will not say Cheryl Connolly. I will not. So with that, we move on to WWE. And we are right in the midst. We're in the crosshair. Next week will be pick'ems for WrestleMania. We have an astounding 9-match card right now.
Probably not done yet.
Probably not done. I'll just go over the matches real quick, what we got right now. Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
I'll take 2. You want one? 3. 3 tickets.
Team Hell No versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. Ryback versus Mark Henry. Wade Barrett versus The Miz. Sorry, fella.
Oh, Wade's going to win.
Orton, Sheamus, and The Big Show versus The Shield. Welcome heel turn Randy Orton. Del Rio versus Jack Flagger. Triple H versus Bork Laser or Brock Lesnar. Or the Beast Incarnate, as Paul Heyman says. The Undertaker versus Ern Anderson. Or, I mean, CM Punk. If you all seen the photo, you have to go online and check it out. It's a picture of Arn Anderson holding the urn with his glasses and his mustache, and it says Arn Anderson underneath it. And the main event, of course, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and John Cena,
who was on the Today Show, and he brought the championship belt
to
Michael
everywhere. That's why I hate that people says he's not. He takes that belt to movie premieres. He takes that belt with him on set.
Yeah.
So to people that say, "Well, he's not doing nothing for the company," malarkey. He is promoting WWE like crazy.
That's why he's back.
Yeah.
He's not stupid.
Michael Strahan held that title up high. I mean, he was proud to hold that.
So, Big B, you said before the show that the card kind of made you go, yeah.
Because we've seen all these matches before.
No, it's not just that. I told you why.
And you said, of course, you'd still be tuned in. I'll be tuned in. We'll all be tuned in.
Fella's house.
So, what is your hesitation?
We're not running towards the break.
I know we're going up towards the break, but kind of... What do you think?
Okay, well, give me the notes real quick. All right, so we'll go over each match here. Okay, Chris Jericho and Fandango. Chris Jericho, established veteran, one of the greatest of all time.
Who we've met?
We met. Got it. Fozzy. Fozzy. He's fighting Fandango.
Yes.
And Fandango's
a Dancing with the Stars reject.
Well, it was not. But anyway,
he thinks he was.
I know. Fandango's official first match on TV,
which is crazy.
This is why I have a problem with this. He should not be debuting at WrestleMania against Chris Jericho with. You think he might win?
I think he will, and I hate it. I hope
you
not.
win your debut, man.
Huh?
Usually you do win your debut.
I hate it. But
are they really pushing him this much?
They must be. I mean, he won NXT as Johnny Curtis.
That was terrible.
And he's not much better. We saw him in a house show against Yoshi Tatsu. That match was horrid.
And actually, I think John Cena was pleased to see Fandango on Monday because they were giving him the "You Can't Wrestle" chance.
Exactly.
So
we'll go to break here, and when we come back, we'll get more into WrestleMania, and we'll wrap up talking about this match and move on to the tag team title match right after this.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar, I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to obwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. obwrestling.com, click on school.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am Big B alongside the esteemed one.
Now,
hey, you say that like you mean it.
Wait a minute.
I don't mean it. I'm the furthest thing from meaning it.
He is the esteemed one. The doctor, Gary the Doctor Lockhart. I am Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers. And you are the peon, Big B, Brandon DeMiro.
I'm the one turning the hamster wheel. Anyway, get back to WrestleMania.
It's a dead hamster.
Anyway, back to business.
Oh, by the way, we found out during the commercial break that if you want to send any care packages to the DeMiro Rhodes wedding at Connections, please do so. Email them. We'll send you the address. www.triplethreattalk.com.
Can we get back to the task at hand?
Equality. We're all about equality here on Triple Threat Talk.
It's about equality sign.
Have you not been on Facebook for the last 2 days?
He's been staying off of it because he knows people are going to address this Cody Rhodes situation with him.
They all want to know. They're like, so when's the wedding? And apparently we weren't even picked to be in the wedding.
You suck.
You do suck.
Can we get back here?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Anyway, so we were talking about Chris Jericho and Fandango. I don't like it. It's one of the things I was dreading they were going to do, and people were saying they were going to do it. I don't know why Chris Jericho is being put in a match with someone that hasn't even had a match yet.
Because he loves to push younger talent. He has said it himself.
Well, yeah, I know, but
that's why. I think he's relishing the opportunity. I don't know.
Moving on. Team Hell No versus Ziggler and Eliason. Ziggler and Eliason win this match easily.
You think so?
I think they're breaking up Team Hell No. I think that's what they're going towards.
That's what we said for the last 6 months.
No, because if they win this, that doesn't set Ziggler up to cash in at WrestleMania.
He can cash in later.
So Hell No has got to win this match.
Not necessarily.
I think Team Hell No wins. I don't think they're going to break Team Hell No.
No, that's the best thing going right now.
That's one of the best things in TV, fella.
I don't know.
They're so over. They're uber over.
I think he cashes in that night.
He does cash in. There's no doubt. But if they win, that hinders that.
Yeah, Ryback wins.
Next match, the only reason they do this match so Ryback can do the shell shock to Mark Henry. That's it. That is it. They want to WrestleMania more, and that's going to be it. They want him to do that finisher to Mark Henry, and that's it.
Yep.
Wade Barrett versus The Miz. Miz wins easily.
Wade is going to win because Wade is being pushed.
That's fine, but so is The Miz.
Okay.
And the reason I picked The Miz is because Wade Barrett may have been in a movie, but The Miz is a star of a movie. They probably want to push that movie more with The Miz.
The movie 3's been out for a while, though.
This came out like last week.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Last week!
By the time WrestleMania comes around, it'll be out almost 2 weeks.
And Wade Barrett's movie will be older. So I think Wade Barrett's at the top. I think they're just pushing The Miz. That's all. That's what I think. Orton, Sheamus, Big Show versus the Shield. I like to see the Shield win, and I think you will. I think Orton turns heel here. I think
we hope because they're making it believe
people are speculating.
They're making it look like the Big Show's the one that's gonna turn. You know, but
people are speculating Orton's been going to turn the heel and join the Shield. We'll see. Again, we'll make our picks next.
I wouldn't like that because I think the Shield is better with just the 3 newer guys. They don't need a leader in Randy Orton.
I agree with that. So
Echo,
Echo,
Alpha, Delta.
This next match I have a huge problem with. I don't think Swagger should be in the spot after what happened.
No, I don't get why they left him in there.
No, that's a
the only reason they may just get him. They may let Del Rio just squash him.
And the thing that pisses me off is that I believe it. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Jey Uso had the same thing happen to him. He got arrested for DUI. And there's talk he's going to get released after WrestleMania when they do the releases, which is not fair because Swagger got the same thing done to him, but because he's more higher up, he gets a world title shot. And I mean, you know, it's
Swagger wins, Dolph Ziggler cashes in.
I don't think they give him. I think they have him cash in Del Rio.
No, I don't because I think they want to embarrass Swagger.
Him winning is not embarrassing.
If he wins and then loses it like 10 seconds later, that's an embarrassment.
Yeah, because then you got to give him a rematch. So no.
Yeah. Get a Swagger rematch.
Yeah, so if he cashes in on Del Rio,
then you can have Ziggler squashing.
Yeah, Swagger gets nothing. So if he cashes in on Del Rio, Swagger gets nothing.
Yeah,
if he cashes in on Swagger gets another shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Triple H versus Lesnar.
Seen it.
I don't care.
But it's no holds barred, and it's for Triple H's career.
I like Triple H. I like
as a wrestler.
I like what
not
he's
a COO.
He's doing good as a COO. Anyway.
Yep.
You know, I like Triple H, but I've seen this match before.
Once.
I don't know who wins this match, honestly. I don't know.
It's one of the. We're not doing our picks yet, so you don't have to do it.
But who knows? Taker versus Punk.
Seen it.
We haven't.
Yeah, we have.
A long time ago.
Yeah, years ago. So what? This is different.
This is for the streak. I think Punk wins.
I do too.
I don't.
I think Punk wins.
I think if Paul Bearer doesn't pass away, yes. But now that Paul Bear's passed away, I think
the only reason Undertaker came back is because he got WWE creative to listen to what he wanted. He wants Punk to win and he wants to leave.
Here's the thing, okay? With Undertaker, if he goes 21-0, it's like people are gonna be like, "Ooh, is he gonna just leave after your win?" He has to lose to leave.
No, he doesn't. I disagree with that completely because win or lose, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see some sort of display.
He can't keep
like
wrestling.
some smoke or something like that. He's going to surround the ring and he's just simply going to be gone. I think that will symbolize that he's not.
I've always said that I thought that the streak should stand, but in this case, he just has to lose.
I disagree.
I
think if Paul Bearer doesn't die, unfortunately, as it was, I think if that doesn't happen, then absolutely. But now that he's passed away, it would be kind of like almost an insult to his legacy with The Undertaker, who he was with so many years during that streak.
I think it's an insult. It's just the thing, you know. Again, would I have preferred to be Shawn Michaels at 25 and 26? Yes. Would I prefer to be Triple H? Yes. But I mean, obviously, those two are better wrestlers. Triple H and Shawn Michaels are better wrestlers than CM Punk. But I think with the thing he did this year with the title reign he had, the longest title reign in like 20 years. You know, obviously being the forefront of the he's more a face of the company than John Cena is, I think, at this point, to CM Punk. I just think that Punk wins. And then the main event, which we saw last year, Cena. You were live there for it. Rock Cena 2. We've all said John Cena wins. He hasn't been champion since 2011, so him winning is not a surprise to anybody, I don't think.
Next week on the show, I have an in-depth reason, and I want to talk more about why John Cena is going to win. And I have an interesting opinion, but I want to save it for next week because it goes good with the discussion leading into WrestleMania.
So, wrap up the show this week. Wild cards, anybody's?
Well, two of the three of us, you two actually, due to my work schedule, I could not make it. Participated in a event representing Triple Threat Talk, and you want to tell the folks a little bit about it?
The Louisville League of Mascots, started by our friend Carl LaGreca. Very good cause. It's basically to make sure that all the mascots are in a directory and easy to find around the city, both professional and schools. And the reason for that is because mascots are help with charity, and there are several charitable mascots that are in such as Abilities the Tiger, and the Dad's one. But there are several that are with special needs or various causes, and there are also things like Homer Depot, the Home Depot mascot, or Biscuits and Gravy, the Bob Evans mascots that are 2 dogs, and so on and so forth. So, and Buddy Bat, who's Louisville Bats, and then like this guy right here was Hat Trick. Hat Trick. We got an interview with Hat Trick. Take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Doctor with Triple Threat Talk. With me right now is a little bit different from what we usually get. It's not a Ricky Chevy or a Johnny Spade or whoever with OVW. We have somebody a little bit better than that, because this is Hat Trick from the Kentucky Stick Horses. Their mascots. How you doing today? He's horsing around over here, but you know how that goes. So the Kentucky Stick Horses are a great organization, indoor lacrosse, and he gets out there, he's in there amping everybody up. Hat Trick, what's one of your tricks that you do use in your bag of hat tricks to get everybody into the game?
Trip and fall down and lose my head.
And also, it's a very rare mascot because he actually talks. We've got half of Parky over here, but he actually speaks, unlike some of the other mascots that don't really speak. Do you think that really is an edge for you? Because
I think so, because I can't see worth a darn.
You can't, so you got to be able to talk.
You got these little kids with lacrosse sticks. They are not afraid to use them. You got to make friends very fast.
So when does the Kentucky Stick Horse season start?
It just ended last week.
It did just end.
Yeah, it just ended. So it starts in December.
Tell our viewers how they can get a hold of season tickets or just tickets in general.
Starts in December. About a 3-month season. Kentucky Stick Horses, we play at Freedom Hall. You can check us out on our website, KentuckyStickHorses.com. Woo!
Well, there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. Thanks for joining us, Hat Trick. It has been a pleasure to have you on the show. And stay tuned. You never know who's going to show up here on Triple Threat Talk. We got mascots everywhere. But for the Doctor and the rest of Triple Threat Talk, have a good night. We're signing off. Definitely some fun comments out of that. I made a couple good puns out of that too.
Yeah, he did. But we're running low on time, so the video package that I put together for the charity, the event, will be on the Facebook page. I'll definitely put a link in the description for the video to link you to all that.
But we want to definitely wish Carl good luck in that. And anytime we can be of assistance as Triple Threat Talk, please let us know.
We have 2 idiots of the week.
All right, let's make them quick.
A woman in Texas decides that she's trying to get rid of a snake.
Okay.
So what does she do?
Call animal control.
No.
What?
She douses the snake with gasoline.
Epic.
Proceeds to light the snake on fire.
Epic.
The snake gets away.
Epic.
Somehow goes to hide in the bushes right outside her house and engulfs her house in complete flames.
Not epic.
So instead of calling animal control, or instead of trying to trap,
she should have called Urban Tarzan.
Or Urban Tar or somebody, she destroys her entire house.
For a snake.
For a snake. He wasn't even poisonous. He was just a big black snake.
Her husband's got a snake around him all the time.
Stop.
Get to the end of the week.
So that's idiot of the week number 1.
So, idiot of the week number 2. We got 5 minutes here, but I'm not going to use it. Idiot of the week number 2.
This is actually hilarious.
A new business idea. What's your dream business? You want to start up a new business? You probably want to be a tech guru of some kind, right?
No.
Call Big B.
Don't call me.
Tech.
In fact, don't call me.
I mean, don't go you for money. Then you probably want to start up like some giant chip industry, right? You know,
already working the chip industry.
You're going in circles with this one.
All right. So, Rent a Mourner is a new business that just came up.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Rent a mourner?
Yes, rent a mourner.
Like, rent somebody to come to somebody's funeral and make it look like they're sad, but they're really not sad?
That's exactly the right truth.
Is that what an actor does?
Yes.
Yeah, so just a quick rundown. Funerals are sad enough affairs without, this is their pitch. Affairs without worrying about whether enough anguished guests will show up to share the grief. To that, an Essex, UK-based business offers trained grievers. We're going to train you to learn how to grieve properly to attend any funeral for a fee. Of course, the fee is $68 per mourner.
$68 a mourner.
And they work in 2-hour shifts.
So $34 an hour to have somebody come in and pretend they're not upset.
My problem with this is, aren't funerals typically a family affair?
And it gets better. Okay, hold on. This gets better.
Oh, I'm sure.
The actors are given, they call them actors.
So like wedding crashers, but funeral crashers?
Exactly. Rundown of the deceased life story so they can handle themselves upon questioning from other family members. So
they get a background check.
They get a background
Wedding crashers.
This is.
Okay. Owner Ian Robertson, that's the guy, that's who's going to be our idiot of the week. Ian Robertson tells the Sun, our staff will meet the client beforehand and agree the story, and that is in quotes. So our staff will either have known the deceased professionally or socially. They will be informed of the deceased background, achievements, failures, etc. so they can converse with the other mourners with confidence, and the kicker is the mourners are not required to cry.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
Oh my god.
For more on this story, because this is one of those things that's too bizarre.
I have to read more about this.
You cannot make this up. Google search Rent a Mourner. It should link you to the MSN.com article or go rent-a-mourner. Or go to google.com and search that and click on
this. This is like Chaz from Wedding Crashers.
Mom, the meatloaf!
Mom! The meat! I never knew what it down!
What's she doing?
No, different doing in there.
Anyway, so I know what you should be doing.
So do we get to pick what the mourner? I mean, can we like? Is it like a line on what this guy, what this person?
This chick over here, she's a knockout brunette. Woohoo! I want someone to say I had an affair with her. I mean, come on, that's the backstory.
There
right?
you go. That's how he died.
That's how he died.
He had an affair with that hot blonde over there, and the wife axed him.
Wow! She is a raven-haired beauty over there, baby. So, yeah.
After all that, if you want to like us on
the show,
Ian Robertson and lady that set her own house on fire.
You are this week's Triple Threat Talk Co-Idiots of the Week.
And if you want to like us on Facebook, and if you didn't after that story, I wouldn't blame you. You can go to Facebook.com/Triple-Threat-Talk. You can follow us on Twitter @Triple-Threat-Talk. You can send any comment or question, and of course your blogs at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. Of course, visit our website, triplethreattalk.com. This is Big B.
This is Carrie the Dr. Lockard saying, when this show ends, I'm going to hire a mourner.
This is Postmaster Jones reminding you to stop by the bookstore and pick up the new Maximum issue with Topanga. Holy cow. Good night, everybody.
This is Big B signing off, and there's a mouse somewhere, so I'm going to order an airstrike. See you next week.
We had 30 seconds. So we were
Rent a Mourner.
Are you serious?
Rent a Mourner.
Yes, Rent a Mourner.
Urban Tarzan.
Rent a Mourner.
Rent a Mourner.
Rent an Urban Tarzan.